2, 3, 4. G minor. Right to the top. That's a little bit. Welcome to another episode of The Musicians You Know. Today's guest is Christian Sullivan.
What's up, everybody?
And
Thanks for having me on.
thank you for being on. And I would like to talk to you about what it means to you to be a musician. And my first question for you is, how did you start playing music?
How did I first start playing music?
Mm-hmm.
The way I first started playing music was actually in elementary school.
Okay.
Started on clarinet, started in the 4th grade. I really wanted to play.
Mm-hmm.
The district only had so many instruments that they can loan out for free.
Yeah.
And there was a certain, I don't know, like amount where beyond that amount, if you wanted to be part of the band, you had to just go and rent your own.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I managed to convince my mom to rent me a clarinet. And
Clarinet was the one you wanted to play. Like out of all the
it was
instruments.
what was assigned to me from what I remember.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to play. I just wanted to play music.
Right.
And from there, it's just kind of propelled me into where I am now.
So you're primarily a piano player now, or are you more of a drummer?
I'm primarily a piano player now,
Okay.
but it's funny that you say that because I would say the other influence for me music-wise was kind of like growing up in church and getting involved with music there. And one of my first instruments in a church setting, because you don't find too many clarinet players in church.
Yeah, I've never seen it, not once.
Yeah. I got involved playing drums at first, like percussion / drums, and over time I just got more intrigued with like keyboard and like the stringed instruments, and at some point I was dabbling a little bit with guitar, and eventually I just kind of stuck to keys. I think it was maybe like at that time my church just needed a keyboard player, and I was like, cool, well, I'll try and just get better and go for it.
And keyboard is your favorite now.
Yeah. You know, that's something that I feel like I've been debating my whole life. Like whether keyboard is my favorite versus what I just practiced the most. I actually really love, like, even till this day, every now and then I get a chance to like play bass, like at my church, and that's so fun. And there was always a part of me that secretly always just wanted to get better at drums as I was getting better at piano. And at some point, I mean, even maybe till this day, I think that if I were to consider myself, if my primary instrument was keyboard, I think my secondary instrument might actually even be like percussion, like congas.
Yeah.
I did spend a good amount of time like shedding congas and shedding like Afro-Cuban music, like really heavy. And that was actually, maybe even now that I think about it, part of the reason I got into piano was because I was really fascinated with like montunos, and I just really wanted to learn how to play montunos,
which is mostly just rhythm. You know?
Yeah. It's just the whole, for some reason, just being able to play the doom 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 doom, like it was just like I want to do that.
Yeah.
And you know, I feel like earlier, even before we started this, we were talking about like just chops, right? But I was listening to some guys recently, and like I feel like montunos and just that style of music has just developed and evolved so heavily. Like I'm hearing people do some crazy things, and like it's almost like they just enjoy trying to just throw you off as a listener. And there's something so fun about listening to music like that.
All right.
church settings, I find myself in kind of like an MD role, like a lot of the time, like a music directing role.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun when you have like a talkback mic.
Right.
I'm goofing around sometimes on the talkback, literally like in the middle of the set, and I'm just like, hey, like, you know, like, why do you wear that shirt today? Just trying to get into.
Hey man, next time you should shower a little more.
Yeah,
or something.
Yeah, you know, and I at the same time I kind of do that maybe also just to, if I ever feel like the band just feels a little like tight, you know, I feel like just throwing in some humor helps. Not to go into a crazy long story, but at some point in my life I felt like music was ruining my life.
I kind of get that.
You know, and I had some sense of like resentment towards music. I was even at a point where I was just like, I don't want anything to do with music. And that led to me kind of just taking this huge hiatus.
Like, what was it about it that made you want to step away? Was it like the pressure, or?
I think maybe it was a little bit of the pressure. What, as a career, I didn't want a music career, either be a teacher or be a teacher or be a teacher. And that's kind of what it was starting to feel like for me.
Especially in jazz.
Especially in jazz, yes. Like I just was starting to realize, like, or just really doubt, like, man, like, did I just kind of waste a lot of time? And I felt like at that point I was pursuing the career more for the stability.
What do you get out of music?
What do I get out of music?
And it could be like mentally, it could be spiritually, you know, especially with church and everything.
Yeah. I think especially after having gone through that phase of my life, I literally was like praying. I really did get to a point where I was just like, God, like, I want nothing to do with this. Like just take this from me. Like, give it to somebody who would actually want to do something with this, because I don't want anything to do with it. Coming from there to where I am now, I think I have learned so much. Not just so much but music has, and maybe this is my answer to the question, is that music has taught me so much about life. I remember like one of my instructors just like encouraging people, like especially early on in jazz ensembles, everyone is so hesitant to just jump in for a solo, and then he was just like, you just gotta jump in, like stop hesitating. I remember just being at a stop sign once and just seeing all these people hesitate, and I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna jump.
Yeah.
It's funny how you make these weird connections, but music, I think, is so special in that way, where it can teach you different things about life, or can complement different areas of your life. I should simply just be grateful for my experiences, you know, even if they have been rough.